Hello, everyone! On the World Series of Poker main event, the battle has been going on for 4 days now. That represents 40 hours of poker, time during which rising blinds, variance, and bad beats have taken their toll on the 10,000-player field. At the start of Day 5, only 522 players remain, including our champion, Leo Margetts, who has bounced back after a difficult stretch. We find Leo just seconds before shuffle up and deal, ready to face a new day with 810,000 chips at blinds 10,000, 20,000. Come on, Leo, the fight resumes.
New day. Day 5 of the main event. I didn't sleep much, but honestly, I've got all the energy I need. It's an important moment. I didn't have much time to check where my table is. We're in the main room.
6.
Let's see if I can find it quickly.
Sorry. 6, 0, 8.
Here I am. Let's see. Is this it? Oh, no.
Gracias.
Let's see if I can find it. Here.
Hi.
Yes. Free? I'm okay.
Please, 2 minutes.
Whew, I found my seat. Thank goodness.
No, it's fine. I leave it in the floor. It's better.
Good morning, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
An ID, no?
Yes, you need your driver's license, your ID, your passport, something.
Passport?
All right, let me get verified, and I'll have a few seconds to settle down before we start.
Hey, man.
How are you? Good.
I don't like to rush, but I'm running a bit late.
Just to warn you guys, he only plays deuces. Pocket twos.
It's good.
Yeah.
Solo par de dos. Big man.
Go ahead and begin to prepare your deck. Watch the cards, get them shuffled, but do not deal until instructed to do so.
I didn't have much time to look up the players I'll be playing against on the app. I preferred to rest instead. But, oh well, in the end, it's a matter of observing once I'm at the table.
608. 609.
That's what will give me the most information, more than looking up their profiles.
La gente se queda dormida por 10 millones de dólares. ¿No?
Vamos.
Just your ID, sir?
Yeah.
Stacking my chips.
The aircon is not working again, no? Or maybe I just rushed to here.
Thank you.
There are a little over 500 players left.
Stick it under
Yesterday,
your seat
over
for now.
1,000 busted after the bubble burst. But, well, it's going to go slower now.
Put it over here.
Even though the pay jumps are gradual, surviving in the main event is incredibly valuable, and people aren't gonna want to make any decisions without thinking.
I'll get it.
Hey, guys, there you go. So small blind is... Okay, okay.
No. We go back an hour. There's an hour of the other level.
Name.
They'll go back.
Hour of 20K.
I understand.
As players in high roller, you are in the silver section over here. Your clock has begun. You're going to be using the black clock today on the big screen.
We're going to play
The
one extra
silver
level.
section.
I mean, we're going to play one extra hour in the previous level.
Pero no terminó 10-20 ayer. ¿Por qué?
Sí, ahora lo retroceden.
Si no me arruino.
¿Estás jodido?
Estoy jodido.
Ah.
No, estamos vivos.
Bueno, tío, exacto.
Estamos vivos. Estamos peleando. Mientras haya vida.
Total.
All right, players in the main event, you should be in your seats. The button is in the 9 seat today, everybody. The button is going to start in the 9 seat. We do have 1 hour left of level 20.
125
So we're going to start things
Can you
off
change for me?
10,000 small line, 20,000
Thank
big
you.
line,
I'll work for
20,000 big line, Andy. I'd like to wish you all the very best
Give you a
of luck here
full
today.
stack.
Dealers, please.
One more.
Shuffle up and deal.
That way you got chips to shuffle if you like to shuffle chips, you know?
Mini one?
Here we go.
That's how much you want.
It's 100?
I'm really up for this.
There you go.
Maybe. It might be 95. now.
Might be 95. Double check. But I'm pretty good at
That'd be a good scam. 5K at a time.
You can pull your hand back, sir. I don't want to.
Players, just so everybody's
Good luck,
aware,
everybody.
we
Yeah.
play 1
I will
hour
not say good luck, but I will say have fun.
Have fun. Have fun.
Another break, all right?
I want
We're
good
gonna
luck for
adjust the
myself.
clock,
but-
so
I mean,
we'll
we can
show
all have fun,
information,
right?
Just
You
so
all have
everybody
fun.
is aware of what's going to happen.
A very nice hand. Jack 10 suited in early position. I'm going to open it.
I think good luck is overrated. Have fun is a lot more fun.
Raise?
Let's had a good night last night.
I have no
Everybody?
information on any of my opponents.
Yeah. A lot of fun. Right back
I don't know
into
how they play. I've never encountered them
We're
before.
right back into it.
But oh well.
I actually got great sleep last night.
it. Me too, but probably because I took Xanax. but- I have not been sleeping. I was like, I gotta
Sometimes
fucking
just by
force it.
observing the way they act, their
gotta force
gestures,
it.
you can get a sense of whether they're Rex or not.
Passed out. I didn't sleep the night before.
This is fun. 522 players left, huh? Pretty
Yeah, it's
sweet indeed.
It's kind of like a brand new tournament just started.
Yeah, it's like we just registered, but we have varying chip stacks.
Yep.
The button is taking his time. Looks like he wants to play the hand.
Why are so many cameras here? Do they have like someone famous? Who's famous?
They are recording a thing.
Recording who?
Inside the mind of a pro.
Ah, very nice. Who's the pro?
Right here.
Oh, cool. I'm scared now. Not.
He calls. He's got 21 big blinds. Good thing he just called, because against his stack, I wouldn't have been able to call a 3-bet.
$450? $450?
Alright, heads up and a pretty good flop. I've got top pair and a lot of backdoors. Here, my range should be checking quite a bit though. So yeah, I've got an easy check call in case he bets. I don't know. He's looked tense since the pre-flop action. $45 into 130. Alright, I've got a very easy call.
I really like your uncle.
That queen comes, it opens up a flush draw. Here, I can only see a check. And well, even though the turn brings an overcard, it actually gives me a bit more equity, since with a 9, I'd make a straight. If my opponent keeps betting, I think I have to call almost any sizing. And reevaluate on the river. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. He checks. That's good news. The 5 pairs up. Alright, now the question is whether I should value bet or not. Actually, I think it's better to check call. I don't see a lot of worse hands that would call if I bet. Like what, Jack 9? Yeah, it's better to check and see what my opponent decides to do. I've kind of under-repped my hand. He bets 85,000. That's about 40%. Honestly, this sizing feels a bit fishy. It looks like a value bet, but does he have a value hand worse than mine? Honestly, without much info, I'd say no, but I don't know if I can fold this hand. I need to win 1 out of 4 times. I'm not sure if I'm there, if I count, if he's betting half of his potential bluffs. I'm calling. Ace Jack, good value. Alright.
85? Yep, you got it.
Well, my play is never going to be negative EV, and I pick up a bit of info this way,
I
but
won.
I don't know if he still had hands
No.
like ace 10 offsuit. I think he could be betting all the club combos that check on the turn to take their equity. Besides, if I checked, it was precisely so I could call on the river. And my hand is pretty disguised. I don't know. Well, it looked kind of iffy, but yeah, I think I had to call. In poker, there are times when you call and end up mucking even though you're playing perfectly. That's just part of the game. Focusing on making the best decision you can is what matters most, far more than the result. But anyway, let's move on to the next hand.
Yeah, but I don't care. I look. I'm a fucking degenerate gambler. Why do you think I'm in Vegas right now? Let's go! Gamble! I played Baccarat for 20 minutes before I came here. That was fun as fuck. Yeah, flip. Ready.
Raise?
This player in early position opens on my big blind. He's got a pretty comfortable stack. Let's see if I've got something playable. Well, first, let's see what the small blind does. King 9 of clubs.
1.3.
This is a hand I 3-bet as a bluff earlier, but the situation is very different now, and I'd much rather defend here.
40, no? 40?
40. Yeah, 40,000. That's right.
Getting hit with a 4-bet would be a disaster, and I have much better hands to 3-bet bluff with.
Checker bet.
Wow, what a flop. Insane flop. I've got a flush draw to the near nuts and a gut shot straight draw.
I folded aces the first hand. I was scared. Yeah, I folded aces up and I just folded.
30.
I was scared.
We're here now. We're ready.
Now you guys are fucked.
He makes a tiny bet. I think it's a tiny bet on a jack high flop.
Oh, sweet, thank you.
No problem.
Honestly, I don't think he has a very strong hand.
Favorite client ever. Fred client.
When they bet this small on this kind of texture, I think players overfold to check raises.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
And my hand is a good candidate to start making better hands fold.
The Mino house? It's perfect. I love adding things.
He has to
water.
fold a ton of ace X,
I
even
love
small
adding things
pairs.
to water.
Yeah, I like the check raise.
I know it's your favorite.
No, I do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Tangerine, that's a good flavor.
I'm doing the peach.
I think that's the highest EV play.
Are these like sweeter?
Plus,
ones,
if
or
he re-raises
saltier
me, it actually allows me to shove comfortably.
ones? I don't care. It's great.
Oh, I know.
I like the.
Well, the electrolytes are gonna
Yeah,
be salty.
I think
I haven't
so.
actually had it. I just
Or
had
if he
it.
just calls, I also
I
have
like
easy
happy
shoves on the
level.
turn.
Saltier.
Yeah.
Have you ever had those? Try them.
Raise?
This is the brand that I like. It has all the bone,
Oh,
or the
okay.
beef organ supplement. And all
Sweet.
And there are hands that
Oh,
call the
really?
raise on the flop, but that would have to start folding on the turn.
Nice.
Like ace king, ace queen. Yeah, I like this line.
Like just show up with them and then like you empty it out, put it in whatever. And then,
All right,
like, get
looks
there,
like he's going to call.
right there. It's like,
And you
awesome.
like feel it. That's
I mean,
cool.
yeah. If your friends ever need a way to.
I've been sending
Wow, what a turn.
edibles to my friend in Ireland. And I've been like,
Now I don't want to
Taking
shove
it and
And then,
anymore.
like other candy
Now I
packs.
want to find the perfect sizing to get him to call.
like the weed stuff,
Okay.
I'm not interested in full equity.
like packaging them like they're like a little kid's birthday
Yeah,
present,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's like candy.
Pull you with a toy or whatever.
Find a
Yeah,
sizing that
with a
lets me
birthday
keep
card,
extracting
like,
value.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, you can even like take. You know that brand that sells everything like the champagne gummy bears and stuff. It's just like in that clear box.
300,000 in the
Probably
pot.
take that and-
I've got 500,000 behind.
Problem is,
Yeah,
they need
a
to
little
make
more than the pot.
so they don't smell.
Ah.
Like it's edible.
Yeah.
But I found RSO. It's Rick Spencer oil.
Okay.
And it's a guy in the like 60s or 70s.
What's going to make his marginal hands suffer most without making them want to fold?
With like side effects of smell.
Oh.
Yeah, half pot seems
Never heard
perfect
of
to me.
that.
And it's just like an oil. Super easy. Like it's pretty potent.
150.
Add it to whatever you want or straight to the dough.
Straight to the dome.
It's like not as edible high, you know, or it can sneak up.
Yeah.
It does a little bit, but you can just, it like absorbs better.
He seems to have a real decision. Maybe he has the ace of clubs, ace king or ace queen with the ace of clubs or with the queen of
I
clubs.
just like 10 million bucks now that I'm being honest.
What?
So I feel like
Maybe
10
with the
million.
ace
I thought
of
like a
clubs he'd
million,
call
but then I
faster,
really
just like he
raised
would
it
with
to
his sets.
10 million bucks.
I think those are automatic calls,
Yeah,
but
dude,
well,
let's go,
I don't
let's
know
get
if
it.
my opponent thinks the
Not up to
same.
me, but let's get it.
Yeah. Let's not go there. We just
Maybe
made
some
friends.
two pairs that
Not
didn't
me.
want to go all in on the flop? I don't know.
Was it you, the guy that I gave the mint tea to? Yeah, right? Remember
I
the
mean,
guy
I got
that
one,
had
but there was that guy that had the bucket hat that like needed a mint tea really
yeah,
bad.
the sinus problem.
Well, yeah, I
I
think
saw
he-
him.
All right,
Oh,
he
yeah?
folds.
'Cause
Too
I
bad,
went-
but we
Uh-huh.
scoop the pot
My
and
friend
add
was
to our
playing
stack,
blackjack.
which is
Did you
always a
bring
good
mint
thing.
No, but my friend was playing blackjack in the home, and I just went and had food with
Yeah.
two of my friends last night. And he was like,
in my
"Hey,
bag.
you saved my life."
Strawberry, orange,
Ah, nice.
mango.
They figured it out, and I just charged. I mean, it was only like $4.50 or something a month, you know.
Yeah, I've only had a roommate.
The player on my right talks a lot.
But it was like with one of my best friends, and the other one, like they were both good with high school with.
It doesn't bother me.
Fairly simple.
There are times when you're in the mood for total silence, but it doesn't bother me that he's talking with the masseuse.
Same, like,
They seem to be friends.
same values, probably.
Yeah.
And well, another very nice hand we're going to play.
Random, like, how do you get to know each other? You know, Florida versus California. You
That's
know,
a very standard
My
race.
friend did that recently, and he was like, "That's never again for me."
Yeah, I rent like 3 months rental. Do contract.
At least.
There's an end date, and I'll let them extend month to month in case it works out. But like, I'm like, it's like a job interview, 90-day probation period. But I've had 2 roommates that like moved in and then just like took over the house. It wasn't meant to be forever.
The player in the hijack is thinking,
Like only the temporary contract ones that like have them sign a 3-month lease.
I don't like to judge, but he doesn't seem to be a wreck.
I rent my mom. I helped my mom rent her. You know, she's an empty nester. My stepdad passed away about 10 years ago. So, you know, she doesn't have the house paid off yet. So
Alright, he's got almost 50 big blinds, 45, 46 big blinds.
you know, and in Kansas, they don't tax rental income.
Well, the fact that he puts on his sunglasses only when he decides to play the hand confirms to me even more that this is typical behavior of a recreational player.
2 different guys that work at like Panasonic.
But oh well, you never know for sure.
She's like based.
Hi, sir. You start the hand with 900. Hi, sir.
Dogs always help.
Heads up.
Thank you.
My sister.
Check a bet.
Yeah, I wish I could have a dog that just travels as much.
This is a good flop for my hand, but I want to protect it.
Being able to be there for my dog. No.
With this hand in particular, I like to check.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I could always leave.
That way, I also control the size of the pot and the number of streets.
I travel way too much. Problem.
Like that way I can have like. Little
Also, I am kind of pretty allergic to, like, even the hypoallergenic ones.
yeah.
Like, as I've gotten older, like whatever, my parents still have a hypoallergenic dog.
I have one.
He
When I go
checks.
home.
Good.
What's that?
I have one of those.
Yeah, and but like she'll still like lick my hand.
Well,
and
this
stuff, and I'll
eight,
still get, like, reactive.
It makes me think that I want to start putting
But I
chips
love
in
my
the pot.
dog.
I think you just, like if the more you're around them, the more you develop. Good
Yeah.
tolerance. Sometimes.
Actually, my opponent is much more capped than I am because I still have strong hands that check, and he shouldn't.
I've been out of the house for a
So,
while, like, and I go back
alright,
occasionally.
now I've got to
They're coming
figure out
back,
how much to
oh,
bet.
yeah, I remember. Now I
My
remember.
Zyrtec,
Yeah,
right?
Zyrtec, yeah.
We are definitely going big, and I'm going to pick the sizing that works best for my hand.
Yorkie half
I don't need to overbet, especially not against this player.
80.
I have
80,000 for that?
dogs, but that if you're allergic to dogs, you're allergic to them. But I love them. Oh. Lovely.
Yeah, if I bet too big, I might scare off hands that I actually want to see call.
For the regular one. The regular dog picks.
I don't know how he plays, but maybe he'll still call me with a small pair, a Jack X.
I mean, what is that? A mini golden doodle. Yeah, my friend has one. They're
It's
so
called
cute.
Baldu.
It's like the best dog ever. Doesn't shed,
Granny and
so
Bambi.
friendly, adapts to your behavior.
Yeah, my friend I love my friend's dog. It's so nice.
Oh, love dogs.
Those are my street dogs. Pamela Anderson.
He's thinking.
and
My
Granny.
my uncle always.
She was Bambi because she didn't walk very good, and we had hip surgery. And
I think I want him to
she
call.
runs crazy. So she's like a beautiful skinny
Oh,
blonde.
that's, yeah,
He
a little
calls.
bit broken.
yeah.
She's
Oh,
fine
that's
now.
And now let's see the river.
God,
Is that your bet?
finally bring a five.
An 8. It doesn't change anything. My opponent shouldn't have a lot of 8s. I want to extract value. I'm gonna go for a sizing. I'm gonna go for a small sizing since I want to make sure I get called. My opponent has a marginal hand, and I'm worried that if I go for a big sizing, it will scare him off. Yeah, there's a big risk that a profile like his will fold if I go too big with the sizing. So let's try to lock it up.
Huge thing is when we first gave her presents, we like figured out how to open them. We always like would take videos of her opening her like birthday presents, Christmas presents and stuff. Eventually she would
All right,
figure it
just
out.
under half pot. The problem would be if he suddenly raises me, but it doesn't look like he will.
My roommate's bringing me in.
I think I'd fold.
They're not my work.
Come on, call.
Like these.
Why?
They're just
If he
like
just calls, I'm winning almost every time.
Friend of the craziest rescue dog story. It's like in the middle of COVID, where whatever, you know, middle of COVID, hanging out, whatever. He like hopped on the bus in New York City. Some like person just opens the door, the door to the bus.
I can't tell whether he wants to call or not, or to raise.
He just walks up and down the aisle and he looks at my
He
friend.
definitely doesn't look like he wants to fold anyway.
Yeah, they just picks him up, brings him home, showers him, brings him to the vet, checks him for everything, and then like he's like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this dog. Like I don't,
He calls.
you know, have time.
All right,
care
I think
for
that's
the
good
dog, and
news.
then he just ends up, like, yeah,
Let's see.
fucking keeping this dog.
Let's go. He mocks. Let's go. Good, good. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Too bad I didn't get to see his hand, but I'm not gonna complain as long as I'm scooping pots.
Alright guys, it's my time. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Any dealer coming in, please put up your 80s and blinds.
I was like,
Do you know how many women we have left?
They're driving or
No.
something like that.
We need one of you to win it.
I don't know. I mean, they used to
Sure.
do a lot of. It was more a thing, I think, some years ago.
Yeah.
When I got the last standing, they even gave a trophy.
Oh my god.
And
As the tournament goes on, people become very interested in how many women are still standing. Honestly, it's not something I really care about.
This is when I went home for a few days. This is Bambi and Granny.
went home for a few days.
Wait.
Kitty! Puppy.
She,
Is
she,
it a,
she,
a
Great
baby?
Dane.
A
She
Great
grew,
Dane.
she grew that to that. She's bigger than me.
Big baby, big lap
Big-
baby.
Ooh,
So cute.
so cute, eh? So cute. Sorry, guys.
Ace Jack.
This is Millie.
I'm in early position, but
That was the
of
one
course
down on
we're
the
going to play it.
$1 million jackpot.
Millie Jack.
Oh, am I the one opening the action?
Yeah. So cute, Millie.
It's a hand that can stand up to re-raises, but that is definitely worth raising.
He's just like my little helper. When I got here, I didn't know he learned to catch balls.
Catch the ball.
Yeah, I didn't even know he learned balls. Like, I
Now you know.
yeah, oh my god. The first thing she does when I get home.
And it looks like the gentleman in the hat is calling again.
She's been sleeping all day.
And indeed, he goes back to his routine of putting on his sunglasses. Well, let's hope this hand goes as well as the previous one.
So, Granny has a story for drinking out of
Wow,
my cocktail.
what a dream flop.
She's always drinking out of my cocktail, drinking out
I'm
of my
blocking the
coke,
board a lot,
laundry,
and maybe against other opponents I could consider checking, but not against him.
bam, go.
I'm gonna go with a small sizing, but I'm gonna bet, yeah. I don't want to scare him, but I think starting to build the pot right now is the best idea.
I think the best thing I did was adopt a senior dog.
Yeah, my gay uncles always adopt senior.
Let's hope he calls.
Blinking at the same time. Just sun bugging next to each other.
Some weaker aces should keep calling. Jack's X, well, I'm blocking them, but he still has a few left.
Little fun right here. Called Little Ricky, and then
Those
like,
ones sometimes annoying.
yeah,
He's
they-
gonna call.
But, he was a barker, but my friend, mom, please.
Damn, he raises. Wow, I really wasn't expecting that.
Badass motorcycle. Wait, wind blowing in the air.
Weird.
He's a leather jacket.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not expecting bluffs from him. He's not the type of player I think who will use the correct bluffing frequency, but I do think he could be overestimating the strength of his hand, and he could be raising me with a worse hand. An ace queen maybe? An ace king who just called? Sometimes recreational players do this kind of thing. I don't know.
Found a pillow that looks like my dog.
Well, in any case, I'm checking now.
She's like 20 pounds. She's bigger than 20 pounds. That's your friend that adopted
Yeah, it's my
dog
that's
dad.
right.
Maybe it was a race for info.
Yeah.
Dog dad.
Like looked up at it and he's like, I guess I have to take you home now.
Well, one of my days when I first got here,
He
my
checks,
car
huh?
was stopped. I had to get
A bit weird.
work done. So I flew
All right.
there, I flew out
That
there,
8 on the river doesn't worry me at all.
work the first week, and then eventually I flew back and drove my car back.
I have a tough decision. Not because I'm worried about losing the hand, but because I'm not sure what the best line is.
You know,
Well, his range isn't very strong after his check on the turn.
dog friendly.
But at the same time, I think it's an inelastic range, and now my goal is to target his hands that raised for information on the flop. So, what could it be? An ace queen, ace 10. Alright, I think I need to go for a big sizing. Yeah, and hope that these hands call me.
I'm it totally helps when you get the dog.
That helps.
That's with the, like, spending money. It doesn't like.
Come on, call to see my hand.
Yeah, some people like to
Yeah.
talk to people.
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
Like that.
I can see that
That's
being
a lot.
a good retirement.
Yeah. A lot of people end up doing some sort of job that requires conversation when they're retired.
Actually, I'm literally targeting Ace Queen, and that's it. But oh well, too bad.
He has like
I'm not sure if he would have bet had I checked.
20, 30
Thanks.
mansion in
Well, in any case, I stayed true to my instinct.
Hamptons or whatever. But he just comes to Jackson almost for the winter and like teaches.
And well, another pot for me. And not a small one this time.
And he like skiing.
Yeah. Well, it's also like less bribery stuff. I tried to distract
Team? Okay. Which isn't that bad. It's like pretty reasonable.
I mean, our fight.
I always say poker needs to come back to not every
What?
back to the still good.
You know what? You're gonna go on break. This is gonna be after break.
with that. Whatever. Everywhere.
Break
I
time.
really like it, but oh, whoa, what happened? She said,
But
Go on break.
yeah, I don't.
She said go on break. I don't know if
oh
that's
my
right,
God, what a scam! I had my blinds out.
but scam.
Floor, can we get a room?
Ça va?
Ça va et toi, ouais. J'ai 1 million là, 1 million 1.
Bah, bien, non?
Ça va. J'ai une bonne table, je pense, mais j'ai un mec assez connu, très loose, je sais plus son nom, peut-être que tu le connais, je pense.
À ta gauche?
2 places à ma gauche, ouais. Lui là.
Ah, mais tu ne le connais pas?
J'ai déjà vu, mais je le
C'est
connais pas
pas,
très bien.
c'est pas bon.
Oui, j'ai vu.
C'est
Très loose, très agressif.
et très ennuyant.
Très chiant.
C'est
Parle tout le temps,
Cabrel version
Ouais.
UK.
Mais il peut me faire une bonne donation.
Une bonne donation, mais aussi, bien
Il
sûr,
peut me prendre beaucoup
c'est
aussi,
compliqué,
ouais.
c'est compliqué
Ouais.
de
Bah là,
le
il m'a fait
dire.
un sale coup juste avant la pause.
Il va te, parfois, si tu connais pas, parfois, c'est difficile de s'adapter à ce profil.
Ouais. Bon, on va attendre des bonnes mains et on va l'attraper. Hein.
Si.
Je pense que j'ai vu ce qu'il y avait à voir de toute façon. Il faut juste toucher les boards contre lui et l'attraper. Hein, mais
Et à part de lui, le reste de la table.
ils ont l'air un peu. Je pense qu'ils sont pas très bons. Je pense pas qu'il y ait de très bons joueurs à table. hein.
C'est super.
Très bien.
Non, ma table, je pense qu'il y a 3 règles.
Ok.
Beaucoup fort bêtes déjà. Mais
Et moi, il y a eu 4 bêtes, 5 bêtes all-in, mais c'était As-Roi 2 As. Donc bon, normal quoi.
ouais. Ah, on va voir. Hein.
Vas-y,
C'est
bonne
très long.
chance.
T'as pu dormir?
Ouais, 6 heures.
Pas mal. Pas mal pour.
Ça va. Minimum.
Aussi, tu es ici, non?
Ouais,
Alors,
au Paris, ouais.
c'est facile pour.
Je vais aller fumer. Bonne chance.
Merci. Toi aussi, hein?
Ouais.
Alright, I'm listening to the encouragement from friends who are sending me messages, and even though there's still a long way to go, it always feels good to have that support. After all, making day 5 of the main event doesn't happen every year.
Yeah, math. Yeah, I'd love to hear that. What's math place? No plus? I like 4, and I got 4? I got 2. I have 4,000. Oh, okay.
I think now all the remaining players are gathered in the main room.
You got a superstar on your table? It's like not fair. What? I don't even know. Yeah, I go to the cameras more.
Ah,
Bon courage, bonne chance.
merci beaucoup. Toi aussi.
And what do you speak like all the languages?
I do speak all the languages.
That's nice.
Especially the language of love.
You're French?
No, English.
Ah. Mais tu parles français.
Ouais, oui. Et vous venez d'où? En France.
Non, je suis pas français, je suis espagnol.
Espagnol? Ah, je croyais que ça me parle. Pardon. Excusez.
Pas de
Quelle
problème.
région? De what region?
Barcelona.
De Barcelona?
Si.
A la Catalonia también?
Catalán.
Catalán?
Sí, sí, sí.
Very good. Catalonia.
Ah, gracias, igual.
Alright, let's go. We chatted a lot during this break. 8.
I can't remember the last time I've had it. Okay, good. I like that.
I mean, whatever, I give you that discount, you know.
No.
It's just funny.
I don't need it.
I just thought I would, you know,
I'd rather it, yeah.
Yeah. Somebody checked me. I was like,
You gotta bluff through. And pick it up your eyebrows.
The hijack opens. It's the player I lost a hand to earlier, the Jack 10. He opens on my big blind. I don't know much about him, just that he made a good value bet on the river last time. And well, here he's got 30 big blinds. I think I'd rather defend. Yeah, I'd rather defend than 3-bet here. And well, I'm going to check 100% of the time, and I'm expecting a c-bet from his entire range on this flop.
come say hi. Paul, the guy with the during the bubble that was Geo.
Oh yeah. You did.
I think I'm going to continue regardless of the sizing. 30,000. Yeah, I still have better aces.
He goes to me like, "What's up, trouble?"
This ace jack beats his ace x hands that continue, and I have the gut shot. Yeah.
Said he has a bunch. He went from like 400 to 2 million.
Let's see what he does on this turn.
I was like, nice. Good for you, buddy.
Almost 200,000 in the pot.
Yeah, I think
It's a very dry turn that doesn't change anything.
Yeah, I went over.
Asher. But I think Asher is like a lot, 1.5 or something like that.
He fires a big bet.
That's probably
Damn. Against this sizing, I'm going to fold.
Pretty good stat.
Plus,
no, I think he's only
yeah,
two.
I'm folding. I'm blocking his bluffs.
Maybe so you think
Nah.
stupid name.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
But well, the fact that he chose this bet size confirms to me that he's a good player.
Well, I think, yeah. I
So,
remember, like,
mental note for later.
Like some guy next to us yesterday was named like Doge. I was like, how is that allowed? Why is his name Doge? That's cool. Like, I pulled my hand already. So I don't know if I like that one.
I don't know.
Spin, 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 spin.
Well, we're going to have to fold quite often. Honestly, I don't want to rush things. Opening hands I shouldn't just because I'm card dead. It's part of the game to know when to fold. It's not the most fun thing in the world, but that's just how it is.
What's up, right? Yeah. I'd imagine it's a lot. That's smart.
It folds to me in the small blind. Ace-7 offsuit with 40 big blinds.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know if that's gonna
Sometimes
work.
that's not a
I can limp call if my opponent raises.
not an
And it looks like we're going to see a flop. It's a good flop for my range and for my hand in particular. I can see bet my entire range for one blind, but well, I think the big blind is a reg and he doesn't know how I play, so I want to play a bit more tricky and check. He also checked. 7. Great. Let's see how we can get some value. After his check, I rule out the strong hands. He either has marginal hands or a bluff he's saving for later. So it's time to start building the pot. I don't want a huge bet size either. Something like 50%? Yeah, I think that's optimal to maximize the EV of my hand. He calls relatively quickly. Let's see the river. Jack. It's not the best card in the world, but I can definitely try to extract value from a King X. Even a Jack X that would have called me with an open-ended straight draw or a gut shot on the turn. What sizing should I go for? I think I have to go for a big sizing. There's 185 in the pot. This overbet could look like a bluff. Yeah, it's a very polarized bet. I hope he interprets it that way and puts me on some bluffs. Specifically against this player, I like that I went with this sizing. I think he's got the perfect profile to be capable of bluff catching against such a big sizing without being afraid. If his gut is telling him he could be winning from time to time, and that my line doesn't make sense. I think I'm getting value from hands like Jack 9 offsuit, King 7. Let's go. Yes. Perfect. That went perfectly. Great. Awesome. Wow, I think we got the maximum value.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
My bad. I was reaching out to fix it. Thanks. Grace.
He opens from early position, this player with a huge stack of 82 big blinds. The small blind decides to see a flop and, well, I'm going to play a lot of hands in this spot. It would be different if I were out of position against both players, but since the small blind is in the hand, I can defend a bit more. Interesting flop where I've got a gut shot. And if my opponent bets, I find it pretty tempting to raise. He almost never has a 4. I've got plenty of them. Well, I can also just call easily. The small blind folded, that's good. Let's see. If my opponent is c-betting too often, I like the check raise. I'm not sure if he knows, but I think here I'm going to be pretty unbalanced in my bluff to value ratio. But I trust that he doesn't know. Yeah, I prefer taking the aggressive line against an opponent who's not familiar with my game. I'm blocking the aces, so if my opponent calls with his range, it'll mostly be with strong hands like over pairs, so I'll have to slow down, but wow, good. Good. He folded, perfect. I'm not sure if I was a bit too aggressive. Actually, I also make hands that I'm already beating fold, but oh well, they all have a lot of equity, so I'm glad he folded. Yeah, almost always the aggressive line tends to be a good decision. You can feel that the atmosphere is much more subdued. Even though there are still a lot of players left, a deep run in the main event comes with tension. Personally, I'm having a blast. I'm running into uncomfortable situations, but honestly, I'm having a great time. I'm even enjoying those moments when it's my opponents who are applying the pressure on me. I'm feeling really good. I'm happy to be here. The Brazilian player opens. He opens with a stack of 10 big blinds. I like it.
55.
At first glance, his range looks really strong, but I know a reg could do this with hands he would fold to a 3-bet. What surprises me though is the call from the hijack. I don't know, he doesn't seem to be trapping. And wow, ace-king in the small blind. That's an obvious squeeze. What I need to decide is whether to shove or just raise without going all in. Well, they're both relatively short.
700.
How much do they have?
700.
Around 9.
900.
10 and 30 big blinds. Actually, 12 and 35 big blinds. Both of them should have a pretty strong range in theory. But either way, I'm happy to play the hand against either one. I'm not sure whether to shove right away or just squeeze without going all in. Well, if I think their ranges are strong, I think I'd rather shove, but at the same time, maybe the other player will spot an opportunity. I'm hesitating. Yeah.
260.
260.
I decide not to shove right away, just in case the hijack would go all in with weaker hands that would have folded to my shove.
What's that? Sometimes easy decisions are fun. Most of my decisions are easy to fight another day.
Either way, the EV of the hand is very similar. I'm not going to overthink it.
Wait, where did you say you were from? I am from South Dakota. South Dakota?
Alright, looks like the short stack calls.
Yeah. I always love to see people's reaction when I say that. How is South Dakota?
I was like, you mean South Florida, right?
Yeah.
And well, same hand.
I mean, it's nice.
Alright, let's hope for a flop of all spades.
Yeah, I mean,
Nah, actually, I don't want to be that greedy.
It's growing pretty quickly.
Yeah, it is.
Alright, let fate decide.
You got 2 flush draws, I'd be careful.
Alright, chop.
Ah, my easy decision. 7 deuce. Oh, okay.
You know, voting.
Yeah.
A flying start, Leo. Everything is going your way early on this 5th day. Flushes and 2 pairs put to great use, and a perfectly timed bluff. More than enough to double your stack in just 3 hours of play, climbing to 1.6 million chips. That's 64 big blinds, a significant cushion with only 384 players left in the main event. We can't wait to see what's coming up in the next episode of Inside the Mind of a Pro.